What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports, we are back. It's the last ep of 2022. How are we, Sam?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
It's been a long year.
It's been certainly been a young year. Me and Sam were just talking about before we started recording how exhausted we are. So, great start to the
Great
Christmas.
start to the podcast.
But let's kick it off as per usual. Jump straight into a bit of football. World Cup final.
Yeah,
Seems. And after hold my hands up, I didn't even watch it. The greatest World Cup of all time, and I
honestly.
didn't watch it. I watched bits of it. Um, I was
How's it
out and
work?
about, but
So I watched the most of the first half, although I missed both the goals somehow. From both Argentinian goals I missed,
yeah,
even though I was watching most of it. Second half I missed, and then I was driving home. So I finished work at 4:30. So driving home, I listened to the rest of it when they were cruising. Honestly, all of it was that they were cruising, they were doing well, nothing's really happening. France can't get anything going. Two early subs got Giroud off and Dembele,
I was well,
which was an
I was
interesting
well
choice.
surprised they got
Yeah,
Giroud, hooked him off. Well surprised.
honestly, so was he, to be fair. But yeah, it was a bit of a dead World Cup final for a long time.
I was going to say, don't say that because, like,
No, I know. For a long time, it was dead. I mean, France couldn't do anything. The first half, France were awful. Their first shot on target was their penalty.
mm,
And yeah, I listened to that on the radio on the way home, and it didn't feel real. They got the penalty, and I was like, okay, they're probably back in this. Mbappe scores it, fine. And it's like 30 seconds later, Mbappe scores again. I'm like, sorry, what? It's 2-2 already.
great goal as well, by the way.
Their
Um,
second goal was
Good volley, yeah,
surreal.
second goal. Just mental.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly the same as you. I was watching bits of it. I saw the Di Maria goal, a really nice worked goal from Argentina. I thought, and
very good.
McAllister, he's going to come back to Brighton a World Cup winner, which I just love.
Got Coach Charlton's there, something, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So he laid it off to Di Maria, great second goal. And like as Sam said, I wasn't keeping an eye on the game, unfortunately, but next minute I knew Mbappe had scored two goals in what, like a minute and 30, something like that.
Honestly, it was ridiculous. Messi gave the ball away. Yeah, and he just absolute. He didn't need to volley it on the edge of the box. Like he could have taken a touch, but I mean, what a volley it was! What great
Well,
technique, and absolutely slammed it. They say not Lloris, Martinez should have done better, but the pace he hit it at, it's
yeah.
hard to get a reaction there.
And why not? When you're in that form, just go for it, man. When you're in
Yeah,
leading the golden boot, like just go for it. And then it went into extra time. Messi bundles in a goal in extra time. You think that's
yeah,
it. You think that's it.
exactly.
But yeah, and then sloppy penalty to give away. To be honest, what was it like? This handball hit him like right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. He didn't. He shouldn't really have put his hands up. But again, what minute was it? I don't know what minute it was, but it was a ridiculous late in the game,
Late,
tired.
late in extra
This
time, wasn't it?
happens, isn't it? I still think they're kind of harsh, those penalties, because you're not going into it trying to block it with your hand.
No, no,
So,
no.
but yeah, got penalty. Mbappe again seals his hat trick,
Hat trick in a World Cup final. That is
which is
nuts.
mad.
It's bonkers, man. That's
Um, I know it's two penalties, but still. And then two insane bits at the end. So Messi almost scores a screamer that Lloris tips over the bar.
that move. Did it move or did he get an deflection? I don't know what
I
it
don't,
was.
I don't think so. I think he hit it so hard, it looked
Yeah.
kind of knuckled a little bit. But yeah, great save by Lloris. And then Emi Martinez comes out with probably one of the save of the tournament.
Wow, that save was unreal, man. With his feet as
Ridiculous.
well. Just
That he managed to get his foot on that because the pace he hit that with that volley, and that player must be like, what the fuck just happened?
he
Um,
feels so shit.
that save was, I think, in the 30th minute. No, 100, not 130, 123rd minute, and there was 3 minutes of added time at the
That's
end of
easy.
extra time. Like
That's easy.
that was that's like dream stuff. You kind of knew they had to win it after that.
Yeah, you kind of knew these Argentine.
Um, and then obviously Messi and Mbappe. I'm glad that they both went first in the penalty shootout.
Yes, yeah, yeah. None of the repeat of Brazil, who saved
No,
it till the end.
like get your best players to take the first penalty. Just settle the nerves a bit. Um, Mbappe's penalty was a good penalty. Martinez dived the right way.
Mhm.
Um, it was a good penalty, good pace. And then Messi
Messi's was
just
so casual.
it was too casual. That was stress.
Too casual. Not in them like situation. World Cup final. It's on your
It
shoulder.
rolled so slowly in. I was like, oh my God. If Lloris hadn't moved to his left, he would have got that.
You would have saved that, yeah. That's one of those where, if the keeper saves it, you just look like a tit, don't you?
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those. Um,
But because it was Messi, it went in. So um and then who missed the second penalty?
Emi Martinez saved it, didn't he?
Yeah,
The second one.
great.
Oh,
So he died the same way for every single penalty.
yeah.
He
I
dove to
mean,
his right every single pen.
you got to admit he's a good keeper. He's a
Oh,
good keeper.
he's a ridiculously good
Especially
keeper.
at penalty shootouts. He's proved it in the Copa America, didn't he? And he's
Yeah,
yeah,
he was ridiculous, and yeah, you could say his antics are he's a bit full on, but I think in a
shit
penalty
house.
shootout,
He's a
you
shit
have to get
house.
yeah, you have to get in the mind of your opponent because
Yeah.
it's the only way you can get an upper hand because it's so 50-50 penalties.
Mm.
And like for where was it? Chouamani was coming up to take his
Chouameni,
penalty.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
player that missed. Yeah, Chouameni.
he like threw the ball away, so he had to go get it, and
Yeah,
then he misses the whole goal, goes wide. Like it works.
it worked.
So yeah, he's a bit of a shithouse, but you can't knock him. He also does both. Like he's a great keeper in the game, but also his penalties are great.
He's
You
good.
don't
Yeah.
really get that too much. Like Tim Krul can save a good penalty, but he's not the best keeper in between the sticks.
No, no, it's true.
Whereas he does both really well.
It's true. It's true. I was really, really happy that Messi finally got his hands on
Yeah,
the trophy, and as they scored the win on penalty, it looked like the players didn't really know what to do with themselves. I was like, players just all
yeah.
over the gaff, just like fell to the floor. It's quite good. It's really, really nice. And does this solidify Messi as the GOAT to you as a Man United Ronaldo fan?
To be honest, I I wanted him to win it.
Yeah.
I didn't want France to win. I did want Messi to win the World Cup. And I also think that his performance in this World Cup has been ridiculous. Like, I know we were saying last season that Ronaldo has maybe overtaken Messi at this moment because he's still doing it at his age, scoring 18 goals or whatever for
Mm.
United in the Prem and being our best player. And then this season, like, Messi's back. He's scoring and assisting in the league. He did it in the world stage. Like, you can't really knock it.
And
Um,
you can argue like Messi carried that team for a lot of that
yeah.
tournament, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you got like Lautaro Martinez, who was dog shit the whole tour. I'm sorry, but he was awful. The fact that he sent a header 3 meters wide, a free header in the
That
World Cup
header was
final,
terrible.
like that was awful. I saw a tweet earlier saying like, now that I've seen both, what is his name? So Martinez and Lukaku this tournament that Antonio Conte is the best manager of all time.
Yeah, so
Managed to
true.
get them to do anything at Inter.
So true.
Like, those two are insane at Inter.
They're scoring
And
scoring goals for fun.
yeah,
Like now
so
look at them.
it's sad to see.
So
But no, I'm glad Messi won it. He
does,
deserved it. Now he's
does
won everything.
does it solidify him as the GOAT in your opinion?
Probably,
Probably. I think
probably.
it's
I
got to
think
be. I think it's got to be.
yeah. I don't think you can really take anything. There's nothing to take away from him.
No, he's done
Can't say he's
everything.
not won the World Cup. Can't say he hasn't won like done it for internationally. He's won Copa America. Um, yeah, he's. I think that he's always had a better national team than Ronaldo has, even though Argentina's national team haven't been great. They've had better players than Portugal have had.
I would
At the end of the
probably
day,
I would probably agree with you.
it's like
Not not this year.
they've had Aguero, they've got had Higuain, Di Maria, obviously you've got Lautaro Martinez who should be sick.
Mm.
So they've got. I think this year definitely they got a great team. And in years gone by, they've definitely had great teams. Gabriel Heinze, what player?
Cambiasso, mate.
Exactly. You got these players in there, and they didn't do anything at the World Cup. They didn't do it at the World Cup. So I think not trying to take anything away from Messi. Like he still the team didn't perform that great, and he still managed to pull them through.
Mm,
Didn't win the Golden Boot just because Mbappe decided to
yeah,
do everything on his own.
yeah. It was one of those. It was like whatever you can do, I can do better kind of game, wasn't it? Like every time Messi scored, Mbappe just
Honestly.
stepped up. Like it's pretty crazy.
So, no, I think it definitely solidifies him as probably the GOAT. I mean, obviously people say Pele won three
World
World
Cup.
Cups, but he won three World Cups in probably one of the best teams ever in the World Cup where the other teams weren't great.
No, and he never did it on a club stage, really, did he?
I mean, he scored over 1,000 goals, Ollie.
Yeah, but not a club, not yeah, but they were rigged, mate. They were like
They're all friendlies.
fake games.
Yeah,
But yeah, did you see some of the scenes in Buenos Aires when they?
yeah. Like they said, like about 5 million were out in like Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo, not
I
Sao
had
Paulo.
Sao Paulo, Brazil, mate. They won't be
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
not
won't
Sao
be out in
Paulo.
Brazil. But I was going to say it got cancelled. Their trophy parade got cancelled because apparently like
Yeah, because the
people were
guy fell off the
jumping from
bus.
people were jumping from bridges onto the team bus and everything. I was like,
Have
what
you
the
seen
hell?
the video?
Yeah,
So one guy lands in it, one guy lands on the back and falls off. So I'm not surprised they stopped it, but
I
yeah,
saw
that must have been absolutely mad.
I saw one thing as well where someone lobbed like a Ninja Turtle up
Yeah,
with Mbappe's face on it, and Messi just sat there next to Emi Martinez, like holding it. Like, do you think
oh,
there's
cool.
going to be a bit of awkwardness when they get back to PSG? You think he's going to be a bit like,
I think from what I've heard about Messi, like he doesn't seem like that kind of guy that would be. Um, I don't think there'd be any anonymity between them. I think they can both go there and be like, we
smashed it?
we made that World Cup final, like me and you.
Yeah.
That was sick. Like I know you won, but that was sick. And like Mbappe has plenty of chance. Could go to another like 4 World Cups,
I do
and
I
he's
do
already
think
scored 12 goals.
I do think that Mbappe does have a little bit of a question mark over his like character. Obviously he's every big transfer window he's rumored to move to PSG. He's like
Nobody
pretty
really
much
knows, do they? Because obviously now he's like head honcho
yeah,
at
like
PSG. He owns everything or
so
whatever. He can do what he wants. He's
in
going
that
to get
as
Messi transferred.
yeah, in that aspect, I don't think Messi would have a problem, but I think Mbappe could throw his toys out of the pram a little bit, but I don't know. That's just
Mm.
me just throwing it out there, I'm just guessing. But
No, it's true. It could happen. It may see Messi doesn't have any game time anymore. Or I don't really know how Mbappe's deal works.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's
I
made
don't
up.
think anyone
I have
does. So
no. It's unprecedented. So,
yeah,
but yeah, what a World Cup it's been. So many crazy moments. I mean, when you look back at Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, it seems like a
yeah.
long time ago, doesn't it? Morocco stepping up, just Japan stepping up, Germany getting going out. Like there were so many good moments. Let's not talk about England, but yeah, so
No, I disagree with that. I think England can hold their heads up high. I,
yeah.
I was talking to George. You were telling me about to find a best sporting moment or whatever this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she said, "Is England a bit of a sore subject?" But I didn't think so. I was quite happy with how England performed.
Yeah.
I think that we lost a game where we were the better team, and that's I feel like I can deal with that loss a lot better
Yeah, that's true.
than a game where we played awfully.
That's true. Good word,
So
Sam. Well summed up.
thank you. I,
Probably
I
more
think that's
forgiving
I
than
think that's
me.
that's my takeaway from it is I'm confident of England and Southgate staying,
Southgate staying.
which I don't know if you agree with, but
Me and Sam had a bit of Twitter beef last week.
honestly, I was like, how can you? Why would you get rid of him? We want a bit of change. Why would you want change from like when we're doing well?
Yeah, I think that England should is a massive risk, and I'm not discrediting what Gareth has done at all. I think he's done an amazing job, but
No,
I think
no.
it's the Chelsea in me really that's coming out because
He
Chelsea is
branded it
so
from you. Sack
Yeah,
him.
the Abramovich
Sack him.
Chelsea obviously sack their managers, and 90% of the time, 9 times out of 10, it usually brings success after
Yeah,
that. And maybe I'm thinking the same way as England. But if
England, it's not the same for England. We change managers and it's still shit.
he's still, but Sammy's fully backing Gareth, and is it confirmed that he's staying on
Yeah,
for a little bit longer now?
I
Well,
think so.
fair play, fair play. I just hope that I hope that we can reach the levels that we can, and we should reach, to be honest.
Well,
Um,
we are reaching those levels. We may not be winning the World Cup or the Euros, but we're reaching that consistently. And
we
that's where
are
we want
so
to be.
close, aren't we? As well, we are
Yeah,
so close. I just
we're
worry.
winning, we're winning the next Euros,
Harry
2024.
Kane's, Harry Kane's not getting any younger though, is he? He's got
That
30,
doesn't need to. How many goals does he score in this World Cup?
three, two, three, two, three.
Two or three. Don't need him. Yeah, I think if he's fit and he can play and he's still picked, we'll play him. But we've got players that can score goals.
I mean, on the flip side of that, our team is so young.
Hmm.
Maybe not in Harry Kane. We still got Tammy Abraham. We still got Ivan Toney if
Yeah.
he's actually not
Ivan Tony's never coming
if
to,
he's
and
not
he's never coming for England. Sorry,
suspended.
he had like another 60 odd betting infringements again. So
I
he's up
saw
to like
that. I was like, oh,
250.
this ain't looking good.
Honestly,
Um, but yeah, we'll quickly cover. We did a sweepstake for the World Cup. Luke was the wooden spoon. He had who was he? Who did he have?
yeah.
Qatar, obviously, yeah, of course. Ben had France, so he wins sweepstake,
Does
and
he?
I'm sure Ben. No, Argentina. I win.
You won the Jesus Christ, Ollie. We had like a half an hour discussion about Argentina winning the World Cup. You're like, yep, Ben win with France.
I almost. I'm just trying to give money away, really, to someone else. I'll take the five. His boys.
Exactly.
Oh God, you
Exactly.
can tell that I'm ready for Christmas, man. Jesus Christ. World Cup fantasy as well. Luke won that. Sam came bottom.
Well, I didn't change. Well, none of us really changed our teams at all.
No, not really. I
I
changed mine a
changed
couple of
like
times. Not
the
really.
first game day, but that was it. So back to FPL. I need to sort my team out for
Yeah, I
next
know.
year.
Yeah, he's coming around thick and fast. Boxing Day games. I don't think all of the fixture on Boxing Day. I think Chelsea and United play on the 27th. I think.
Are they
I
playing each
think
other?
no. I think Chelsea have got Bournemouth. Man United have got Nottingham Forest.
Sick.
So on
Well,
paper,
we've got a World Cup winner coming back, so
you
he's probably
have.
not going to play.
Yeah, I know you probably won't play, but he's still in Buenos Aires, smashed
Yeah.
off his head.
So is Varane. Like we've got both our centre backs, which is our weakest area on the pitch. Both have just been in the World Cup final.
Although, if it's anything like Mbappe, apparently Mbappe's gone back to PSG training 62 hours after being in the Qatar final. So,
Well, he's crying. So
so Varane technically should be back as well.
we'll just
Um,
go back to playing like Montpellier and scoring 6 goals a week.
but yeah, Sam brought up in our group chat yesterday that Fofana's injured for Chelsea again, so that's great. Um, looks like his knee injury hasn't really healed. And
It
they've
hasn't really healed. He then injured it again.
injured it again. Yeah, I think they rushed him back, to be honest. But we have signed Ngunku for next season, which I'm buzzing about.
What about this season?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about this season. I can't. I
All well and good
can't.
having him coming in August, but
So you got Brozier that's out. You've got Fofana that's out. Chilwell and Reece James are coming back from pretty hefty injuries. Um, you've got Havertz that's had a terrible World Cup.
yeah.
You've got Aubameyang that I don't know what he's been doing. Hopefully he's been training with Haaland, but if he hasn't, then we're in trouble. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the start of the
Mm.
Prem, but we shall see. Um, NFL. Let's move on to a bit of NFL. What
Stress.
can I say? The Vikings, man. What can I say?
That was a ridiculous game. Like how is that like it's stupid. Matt Ryan is just I bet he's rigged.
Matt Ryan's cursed, mate.
He is
Absolutely
yeah.
cursed.
I think he's like the it lost the biggest comebacks in like NFL history in multiple different ways, like in like conference championships, in Super Bowl, in regular season. Like he has them all.
Colts 36, Vikings 39, the largest comeback in NFL history. Vikings were down 33 nothing at halftime. 33 nothing. And we didn't even start the third quarter great either.
No, you were
Um,
like 30 points down by the like at the end of the third quarter.
yeah, it was absolutely. We scored 22 points in the fourth. And yeah, we kicked on a little bit at the end of the third, but it was just absolutely nuts. So I remember I was watching the game when it was on Sky Sports and I was buzzing because I was like, oh yeah, the Vikings haven't been on Sky Sports in a while. I'll put it on the big TV. I saw
What was funny is you watched the first half, and every now and then you're like texting me like, "This is shit, this is shit, this is shit," and then I turned it off. I watched the second half and was letting you know, like, the comeback's on, the comeback's on, it's coming. You
oh
watched
mate,
it the wrong way around.
it wasn't a good time because the first half, Kirk Cousins threw a pick six, and I think that made it 30 nothing at the time, and I turned the game off. And I was like, I was not having it. That's the equivalent of pretty much being like 5-0 down
Yeah,
in football. I turned it off, and I don't usually do that. And I was pissed off. And my Vikings hoodie on. I was like, this is cursed. Like this is not good, going well. And then yeah, I didn't keep an eye on the score. And then I looked at Twitter, and then we'd all of a sudden scored like two touchdowns.
yeah,
And you started texting me. I was like, hang on, are we actually gonna do this?
it's coming, it's
Um,
coming.
yeah, it's happening. And then I started to watch the game in the fourth quarter, and I was like, hopefully I'm not a jinx. And then Dalvin Cook did that 70-yard touchdown from a screen pass, and the stadium was going mental, and it took us to overtime, and Matt, Greg Joseph kicked the winning field goal in the end of overtime. So honestly, NFL the greatest is honestly so good, and I would encourage anyone to watch it. Um, and we clinched the NFC North, which is great as well.
Yep,
Um,
yes, playoff secured.
I've secured. Um, what wasn't so good was how the Patriots Raiders game ended, Sam.
So no, I don't understand. I don't understand how the Patriots are trying to play football at the moment. Like even during the game, they had multiple opportunities. Um, some of the officiating against us this year has been a bit awful. Quite namely, the game against the Vikings was awful. We should have won that game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were a couple of big calls in that game, which
Yeah.
are
But I had another call where in this Raiders game where he scored a touchdown, but his foot was over the line. Don't understand how that works. Um, they apparently review every touchdown play, but apparently not. Um, yeah, and then that final play is probably it's up there with the worst play of all time.
it's just it's it's clueless, and you don't expect that from a Bill Belichick side.
No, I don't think I've seen the Patriots use that play. I don't remember the last time they used it, but they were doing like laterals, and then so we get up the pitch. He gets it quite far, to be fair. Turns around, throws it backwards, straight to the opposition, and he runs into a touchdown. You're like, what's going on here?
Bearing in
Like,
mind this game was 24 all
yeah,
with
it wasn't like we had to score a touchdown to draw. It was play the clock out if we need to get to overtime.
overtime. Yeah.
There was no rush. I've never seen Bill Belichick rush, and that was. I mean, I'm guessing it maybe Matt Patricia rather calling it than rather than him, but yeah, very odd and very disappointing, especially as they were probably that was probably the winnable game out of our last four games.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
We've
You
got the
got
Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Bills next, which are
yeah.
all very losable games. I think we've got like a 14% chance of them making playoffs, and we have to beat at least one of our um one of the Bills or the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
I just think as well, like that does not bode well for like confidence and momentum. Losing a game in that fashion when
No,
you've got three must-win games coming up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you must be terrible.
it's I couldn't like obviously it was a game at like I think it started at 9:25, so I'd already gone to bed. Um But yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, waking up to seeing it that we'd lost it in that way was just I was pissed off. It was so bad.
I bet, mate. I actually bet. And he's got clips like Julian Edelman. Like he put on his social media. He was in the crowd, and he was
Yeah,
like, he's going, "What are we doing? What are we doing? This is like a
and he's
goat
not
of a
wrong. He's not wrong. We need to get him back in.
team." Probably do
He
a better
said he said he'd only come back if the Patriots asked him.
job. Get on the phone, boys.
Hey, apparently we want to. Apparently Tom Brady might be a thing. Maybe even or Jimmy G getting
I,
back.
I heard that on the Brady's podcast, he keeps hinting at Belichick and keeps talking about the Patriots and stuff. So
I think he will retire as a Patriot.
next year is the last year, I reckon.
Yeah, either he signs like a one-day contract and
Yeah.
retires as a
Oh,
Patriot,
one
or
day.
he will play for the Patriots
Yeah.
again. But it's difficult because Mac Jones has the talent,
Matt Jones is decent. Matt Jones is
so it's difficult. I know, obviously, Tom Brady's on another level. Mac Jones has the talent, but Tom Brady could probably still do it with the receivers we have at the moment, and that's
yeah.
the difference, I think.
And he's just with
His
Bill
game
Belichick.
management.
You can't deny their connection, and he'll just fall right back into place, won't he?
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Patriots have been a weird one this year. Like, it's like you remember, like Bailey Zappi or whatever his name was. He was like the guy for like a week, and then what
yeah.
happened to
Well,
him?
Mac Jones was injured, had his ankle problems. Bailey Zapp comes in, wins instantly. I think he won like two games in a row,
Well, not too, yeah,
like throwing like 400 yards, and like that wasn't even playing like Patriots football. He was slinging it.
yeah, growing.
So happy for the future, but yeah, at the moment it's a bit hit and miss. And just if we get any results out of the next three games, I'll be surprised because the
Massive.
Bengals are on fire. Dolphins is probably the most winnable game I think out of the three.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we're not going to beat the Bills.
Well, let's quickly cover some other scores, some other good results really in this past week's games. The Jags beat the Cowboys in overtime.
Yeah,
Mad scenes, 40-34. Obviously Sam mentioned it. The Bills beat the Dolphins only just though. So I think you could beat the Dolphins if you play at your best.
yeah.
Um, the Chiefs got taken to overtime by the one win Texans. I don't know how that happened.
How that got to it overtime, right? I mean, the Texans were winning by quite a bit for a long time. Um, yeah, that was quite impressive. But yeah, the Texans then obviously screwed up because it's the Texans. So.
Yeah, and then the Broncos won. The Broncos beat the Cardinals. We gave the Broncos a lot of shit this year.
That's right.
But they Broncos country, let's ride. But they got a win against the Cardinals, who have equally been terrible.
Yeah, it's
Um,
so surprising the Cardinals. I don't understand how they've been so bad. They've got such a good team.
yeah,
Like last year was probably obviously their best year. I think they were 8-0, weren't they? And then just
mm,
completely lost it throughout the end of the year. And this year they never even got started really.
and Kyle is out now for a while. I think he's got quite a
Mhm.
serious injury. So I don't know. It's not looking good for them. And then I thought I'll bring it up on the screen if my editing is actually any good. But I've got the playoff picture for AFC and NFC in front of me. So we've got the Bills, Buffalo Bills, who are one seed in the AFC. The one seed gets a first round bye, so they don't play in the first week of the playoffs. And then currently you've got the Chiefs against Dolphins, which should be a great game. That
That's
should
gonna
be
be
great.
good.
You've got the Bengals, who are three seed against the Chargers, which
Good
great
game.
game. Good young quarterbacks that can just
Yeah.
hoy the football. And then you've got the Tennessee Titans, who are the fourth seed against the Ravens, who are fifth seed. Again, that should be a great game.
The
They're
fact that
all
the Ravens are in there. The Ravens have been playing awfully this year.
nine and
And
five. They are.
they're somehow grinding out wins. Their wins are they're winning like 10-7. Those are their games. If you look at like that past few games, I'm gonna find them. They're ridiculously low scoring.
I remember the time when the Tennessee Titans also were on a roll. They won like five or six straight, and now they're 7-7. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened to them as well.
So the Ravens lost this week to the Browns, 13-3.
Right.
They won last week 16-14. They won the week before 10-9. they had an odd week where they lost 28-27 to the Jags, but then they won 13-3. Just these scores are ridiculous.
You'd have
So
thought like
low scoring. And then they had that one game where they were like 30, like 25 points up against the Dolphins and lost 42-38. And I don't understand that.
that's really
I was like,
surprising, isn't it? Because like Lamar Jackson can create anything. Like he
yeah.
can, the world's
To
his
get
oyster, really.
Mark Andrews has been injured quite a bit this season, so his tight end's not
Big
there.
time, yeah.
But still, you think he could do other stuff.
And then moving on to the NFC, the Eagles, who are 13-1, they're one seed. They've got a first round bye, but Jalen Hurts is injured though, so you
Yeah, they'll
know,
probably be ready for the playoffs because they've already got
yeah,
playoffs. So.
it's true. The Vikings are two seed, 11-3. They would face the Washington football team, or the
Nice.
Washington Commanders, no, as they're called, which would be a good game for Kirk Cousins, bit of a reunion.
Yeah,
San
thank you.
Francisco, the third seed, against the Giants. Against again, the Giants are a
The
team that,
Giants in the playoffs is just weird.
but they're a team that are doing well, and they seem to be in a bit of free fall. Eight,
Yeah,
5-1, their record is. And then you've got this is the maddest one to me. Four seed, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-8
yeah.
against the Dallas Cowboys at 10-4. Um,
It's mad that that have you seen that whole division? It's awful.
that division is like the worst division in
I've
football.
never seen anything like 6-8 is such a bad record.
6-8
The
in their
fact that
dance.
they get into the playoffs with 6-8 record and we don't get in, and almost got we're a 7-7 record at the moment.
That's the thing about NFL is that, you know, if you top your division, you are getting a place in the dance, no matter what your record is in
Yeah.
comparison to other teams. So
So they're 6-8. The Panthers are 5-9, or all the rest of them are 5-9. So that, to be fair, that whole division is wide open
yeah, it
with
is.
around 3 games to go. That's just ridiculous.
It is crazy, and we've still got 3 games to go, as Sam said. So I think that this playoff pitch is going to change a few more times yet.
Yeah.
But I would probably still imagine that the Bills and the Eagles would still be number one seed. I think they're going to solidify that first round bye,
Yeah.
and then it's fair game for everyone else. I think so.
And the Lions are going to get in.
I really hope the Lions get in. They're 7-7.
Yeah.
They're in the hunt. They've got Seattle ahead of them.
Mm.
And then it's Washington who are seventh seed in the last playoff spot. So
I think we're like eighth.
yes, I think the Patriots are eighth, seven and
Yeah, you're
seven
right on. You're right on the
on the
edge.
cusp. You've got to beat Miami. Miami Dolphins are seventh seed and they are 8-6. So you've got to
Yeah.
beat them. You've got to beat Dolphins.
Probably all three of them. But win all 3 games.
You've got,
Might as well win all three if we have to win one. So
yeah. I just like I was saying to you the other day as well. I think if Buffalo have wrapped that up, that one seed up, then I think they could be resting some players by the time you play them, and you
I
could.
mean, I hope so because it gives us a chance.
Cricket. We'll quickly touch on cricket. England have completed the series sweep in Pakistan. Scenes, mate. Did you watch any last Test match?
I didn't watch it. No. I tried to keep up with it. I kept forgetting what time it was on. It's
Early,
early in the morning.
early.
But yeah, surprised. Like they played really well. It was quite attacking cricket. Um, they bowled really well. They switched up when they needed to and got quick wickets.
Shout
And they
out,
batted.
shout out, Rayan.
Yeah, what a
Oh,
debut.
18 years old, leggy. I love a good leg spinner. Um, 18 years, and I think it was like 120 odd days. He was the youngest Test debutant to take 5 wickets, take a
Yeah.
fifer. Scenes, mate. Just he looked really good, he looked comfortable as well. He was bowling like googlies, he was doing all sorts, loving
I think
it.
they're saying that Jimmy Anderson has gotten more wickets than weeks he's been alive, which is ridiculous.
He's just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
what a debut for him.
What a guy.
What a place to go and get it against Pakistan. Pakistan. To be fair, it was all round a good game from both
Mm.
teams.
Both went for it, didn't they?
Yeah, and then just in the final session, England properly went for it. playing ODI cricket again in a test, um, which is the only way that Zach Corley seems to be able to play cricket.
But yeah, exactly.
Is in that fashion. I'm enjoying the new renaissance of English cricket, English
Definitely,
Test cricket.
man. Definitely. I think Harry Brook got man of the series.
Yeah,
Yeah, again, another new guy that's been brought in, and also for me, I think Ben Duckett's an honourable mention as well. I think he's got a really good series. Um,
I think they were saying that in like 10 innings, the batsman at number 5 has got a century in 8 of them.
wow, shit.
Like the person who's at number 5 is playing out their mind
Yeah, he's
every
just
single week.
unreal.
Um, so yeah, it's exciting, especially for the Ashes. I mean,
Definitely.
it'll be an interesting Ashes because Australia are playing well as well. Like they're dominating the West Indies. They like Marnus Labuschagne, Labuschagne, however you say it. He is playing unreal. I think he scored centuries in back-to-back games. He scored a double century and a century in one test. Um, yeah, and then obviously Steve Smith is still awesome.
Still see something in it, and it's back in England though. The next Ashes, so that would be really,
Mhm.
really
But
interesting.
they are struggling a little bit, I think, with South Africa. South African
Mhm.
bowlers are bowling insane at the
Oh,
moment.
mate.
They've got a test against them at the moment, but then South Africa weird test. I don't know if you saw any of it.
No, I
And
just saw some of the wickets that flashed up on my Twitter and stuff. South
yeah,
Africa got a really pacey bowler, Norke or something like that.
okay, but there's also Bavuma who's playing really well.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
You got Rabada, who's sick.
Rabada, yeah, good, yeah, decent bowler.
Yeah, absolutely weird. So great test for bowlers, awful test. No, great test for bowlers, awful test for batsmen. Um, so South Africa got 96, 152 in the first innings.
Jesus Christ.
The highest score was 64, which was their wicketkeeper, um, which is just not great.
No, not
Australia then get 218 in reply, which again isn't great.
no.
Travis Head got 96, and that was the only one even close to being good. Um, and then South Africa got 99.
What? I didn't
99.
even know about this. It's crazy.
Yeah, they got absolutely dominant. Pat Cummins with 5 wickets. And then Australia needed 34 to win. So, but then they needed 34 to win, but they were 35 for 4. Still had 4 wickets.
Jesus Christ.
Like Steve Smith, the main surprising thing that the highest score was 6
6.
in that innings.
Bloody
They were
hell.
19 extras. You think
Oh,
when you're defending 34 and you send 19 extras through, that's ridiculous.
what the hell? This game seems equally as exciting as the England game, but for different reasons.
Yeah. And like Rabada got all 4 wickets in 4 overs. It's just I don't understand how that even
That's
happens.
jokes, man. That is jokes.
The next game starts on Christmas Day,
Oh,
25th to the 30th. Yeah, and then the Ashes start on June 16th next year.
love
Free
that.
for my birthday. Fine. I'll take that.
Also, before we leave cricket, did you see Ben Stokes in the England-Pakistan game? He launched
No,
his bat. Did you see it? He
no.
went for like a slog sweep or
Yeah.
a huge like just slog, and he just let go of his bat, and his bat literally went miles.
Jeez.
I did that before in rounders and nearly killed someone. So I know it was yeah he did launch it, nearly went for 6 itself, which is pretty funny. Um, F1. I don't know if we touched on this in the last podcast, but Mick Schumacher is now reserve driver for Mercedes next year.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that
Yeah.
one?
I think that's a good move. It
Good.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Makes sense to stay in F1 at his kind of age, I think. I don't think it makes sense for him to go anywhere else.
No, it's true.
Um, because I don't think he's finished in F1, and Mercedes is definitely a good place to be.
100%. 100.
You can't really say no. Um, Especially with Hamilton, he probably doesn't have too many years left. He's probably not going to stay there forever.
No, no.
Um, so you could see a George Russell Schumacher at Mercedes, which would be pretty cool.
I think everyone
Um,
wants to see the narratives, don't they? Like Schumacher's son, in Mercedes. I
that's,
think that's quite a cool narrative and stuff.
yeah, that's a former team, like the team that he kind of helped start. And when Mercedes was starting out, he was in the car.
Mhm.
I think got them their first podium or something. When they came back, obviously. But yeah, it'd be quite cool. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I think it's a really good move. Really, really good move. Yeah, we'll see
Go
what
from a
happens.
Haas to a Mercedes is quite a big jump
It's
as
quite a
well.
jump. Yeah, that's quite a jump. We'll see how he does. It's always that
Mm.
argument of, you know, doing performing in a terrible car, and then when you get gifted a decent car, see what you can do.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a bit like George Russell in a way.
yeah, definitely,
In the
definitely.
Williams, and he could perform really well in that. He's been in this. He performed pretty well as well. Um, a bit lazy with his braking, but and how to overtake. But at the end of the day, he's still driving well.
Cause carnage, doesn't he?
Honestly, he just crashes into everyone.
Tennis. I mentioned it on our story on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, but they're releasing a Drive to Survive style series called Breaking Point, which comes out on January 13th. Are you
Yeah,
buzzing, Sam? That's right
yeah,
up your
fully
street,
fit.
mate.
I feel like there's a lot of random beef in tennis between
Yeah.
tennis players that I'm very excited to see what happens and what they've been following in terms of the season. It's been probably quite an interesting season to do because obviously at the beginning of it there was a whole COVID
hmm
with the Australian Open and everything like that. So it will be interesting. Um,
Is Nick Kyrgios in it? Because he'd be
has to
popcorn
be.
TV.
Yeah, he has to be.
And that brings us to the end of the podcast. I asked Sam if he has any best sporting moments of 2022, and I've got a few, or I've noted down a few, and also the worst if you've got any. Um, I
Yeah,
was looking back on my notes, mate, like from previous podcasts, mate. So much has happened in 2022. It's
honestly.
nuts. It's actually nuts, bro. The UFC event, the UFC London event, and then the same night as Eddie Hall versus
Yeah,
Thor. That was this year.
I forgot about that.
Cobblers when they lost, flipping
Oh my
um
God.
when they got booted out of the
But
promotion,
yeah,
yeah, by Bristol Rovers when the Bristol Rovers went on a bit of a tear.
for
That
that
was
same
this
day.
year. Like so many crazy moments have happened this year. Um, have you got any? What do you want to mention? What do you want to flag up or bring up?
I
Any good
mean, I
moments
think if
for you?
you anytime England wins a World Cup, it has to be mentioned.
Hmm
T20 World Cup, I think, kind of played so well in that tournament. Um, I don't think it's probably the biggest shock because white ball cricket has been pretty good of late.
Yeah.
But to actually do it and do it in the way we did, because it was a bit hairy at times, and normally we can be suspect to a little collapse. But no, that I think that definitely has to be up there for one of the best
Yeah,
moments.
I've got that as well. And it was it wasn't all plain sailing, was it? Like, there was a that Duckworth Lewis defeat to Ireland, which made
Yeah,
things quite tricky. And I think they pulled through it. And I think that's kind of similar to like Argentina, really, weren't it? Like you get better as the tournament goes on, and
yeah,
that's I think that's what England did in
yeah,
2020.
exactly.
um, I've got an honourable mention. Leon Edwards KO of Kamaran Usman
Oh
in
yeah,
UFC. He was losing that fight on points
quite
quite
easily.
badly, to be fair, quite
Yeah,
badly. Yeah, and it was like something out of Rocky, man. His team was shouting like, "You just need one moment," and and he head kick KO, and it was absolute scenes. The commentary, the post fight speech that he did, UK champion from Birmingham now. Yeah, absolute scenes. That was a really good moment. Really, really good
that was
moment for the
hard.
UFC. Do you have any more good sporting moments or
I
anything
think
else?
Nadal breaking
Yes,
Federer's record and then adding to it,
good one.
winning
Right.
two Grand Slams in a year, it kind of well past his peak, but still maintaining that insane Roland Garros record that he has, winning Australian Open, coming back from two sets down in the Australian Open. Um, just a monumental feat. and then Novak Djokovic equaling.
Mm, big, big.
Um,
Yeah, love that.
so yeah, exciting for tennis, I think.
Um,
To see him going past.
you've also got K-Mag's pole at Brazil. That was just
Yeah, that was mad.
that was mad. Like no
How
one
that even
expected that.
happened?
No one expected that. You've got also in the F1 world, you've got Martin Brundle's grid walk at Miami.
Oh yeah,
I remember
that's
texting
an
Sam through
all-time.
it.
I think that's the only reason that I would like more celebrities to be on the grid walk bit is because Martin Brundle has no idea who they are, but will talk to them in the same way, the same sarcasm to every single one of them, and it's great. It's great.
It's the bit when he thought that basketball player was Patrick Mahomes. I think that was it for
It's,
me. I think
he was
that
like,
was
it's Patrick Mahomes. He kept following him, and it was like everyone was like, "That's not Patrick Mahomes." Everyone who was looking at the TV. And then there was that guy. He walked up to him and says, like, "Oh, you're quite clearly quite an important person,"
yeah,
and he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Well," and modest as well. He's
yeah.
like taking the piss.
Oh
I think
god,
I'd like to see that more.
100%, mate, 100%. And then I
Good
think
to look at everywhere.
the last one for me as well. We've just mentioned it in this podcast, but the Vikings comeback win, and also to be fair, when we went to NFL London, that's a great sporting
Yeah,
moment. That was a great
yeah. We
finish.
made it this year.
Yeah,
Honest to
finally
God.
made it. Got to watch my team, and it went down to a last field goal kick, which double doinked it and went
Double
out. And
doink, mad. I've never.
absolutely,
You can probably count double doinks on on your fingers about how many times that's actually happened in the
happened in
NFL.
history. Yeah, in history.
So yeah, to be able to see that was quite mad.
Yeah. Any more, or is that it? Should we move on to worst?
Um, my worst is also a good one at the same time.
Okay, go for it.
One worst is Roger Federer retiring. The way that he retired was one of the best things of the year.
Yeah, yeah. The
Like at the Laver Cup, just his kind of child anyway. That tournament, being able to play a double his last match ever with Rafael Nadal. He apparently rang him up specifically. Was like, "Would you be like? I'm probably going to be playing my last doubles. Would you be able to play it?" And Nadal was like, "Yeah, of course, I'll do anything." My wife is due to give birth around that time, but so Nadal obviously played the game, and then he left that evening, I think, or
yeah,
like the morning of, just to go back to his wife because she was giving birth. But no, everything about that was great. Even though Team Europe lost,
mm,
um, I don't think there was any anonymity between the teams. Everyone was just there to have a good time. Roger Federer's speech at the end was heartbreaking,
oh yeah, that
but
was terrible.
lovely at the same time. And yeah, you can't really ask for a better send off than that.
And it was like the epic photo, wasn't it, of like Murray,
Yeah,
Federer, Djokovic. Like that is like literally like unmatched. You
yeah.
can't get better
The
than
fact
that.
that they got them all, they're all there, um, and the fact that the big four were all there. I know everyone says the big three, but I always count them as the big four because Murray was always with them. He just never won anything for a while. He was always there, but couldn't get right at the end. But yeah, I think that was one of the nicest moments of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a couple terrible Chelsea moments that have happened this year.
Quite a few of
um,
them.
the
I could pick out a few United ones to be fair, but
the sanctions on Chelsea Football Club was a terrible time. I was getting banter left, right, and centre. I didn't even know if Chelsea Football Club was going to be a football club at that time. It was
yeah,
just
I don't even remember.
wasn't a good situation. And also the Champions League quarter final. I know this is last year's Champions League now, but we're still technically talking 2022, where we lost 5-4 in aggregate to Real Madrid. I thought that we were through so bad. We even beat them 3-2, but just didn't get the goals in aggregate. And I think Benzema scored in like the 96th minute to take them through,
Yeah,
and it's just
that was a great day.
it wasn't good. And then we lost to Liverpool.
Watching that one, and then watching Real Madrid beat Man City, um, in similar fashion, was just the pinnacle. Watching my friend's face as a City fan in a pub in Manchester just look solemn. Uh, Yeah, that was a good moments. I don't want to say the worst. They're great moments.
Also, when we were at the NFL, probably a bad moment for Sam
Oh
was
yeah.
finding out the United City score was what, like 6-0 at the time or something like that,
Yeah,
5-0.
it kept going up. It was like 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And then we scored two at the end. It was like 6-2. The score was at
Something
6-3.
ridiculous,
I think
yeah.
it finished 6-3, but a mad game. Put a bit of a dampener on the day. Um, but no, that was sad.
In the boxing world as well, a bad sporting moment was Fury and AJ. It's never happened. The amount of hype that fight got, the amount of traction it got, the amount of people that were buzzing for it,
Yeah.
and they've never fought, and I don't think they will ever fight. So it's
No.
just
Well, now was it Anthony Joshua saying he wants to fight Dylan
Dillian
White or
White,
something?
Dillian White. Yeah, so
That's dead. That's it. Honestly, heavyweight boxing at the moment is a bit dead.
it is dead. It is so dead. Yeah,
None of the fights that anyone actually wants to happen are happening.
no,
All the fights that are just like, what's the point? And
I
what's the
don't have.
point in Tyson Fury fighting? Was it Derek Chisora again?
There's
Like,
no, there's
what was
no,
the point?
there's no point in that. And yeah,
Derek Chisora is literally there just for a payday now because he's getting beaten by these heavyweights, but getting like millions at the same time. So
and
yeah,
it gives you no hope for Usyk Fury, does it? It gives you no
no,
hope for the undisputed fight, title fight. And then I think the last one for me is, it's a bad sporting moment for in terms of being a shock and sad, but passing of Shane Warne, one of my
yeah,
icons, age of
yeah,
52. So yeah, that was a really sad moment from this past year, along with
yeah.
Sam's Federer retirement. So
I think there was a nice moment or a nice video that was out the other day of Shane Warne talking to is it Rizwan
yeah, Rizwan, yeah,
um when he was like 15 and just saying like you'll be one of the you'll
next one,
make it
yeah,
and it was quite nice to see a video of that.
it is cool, it is cool. Um, any moments, or is that it for you? I think that's it for me.
Yes, I think that's all of them.
Also,
Or
the
the or
Darwin
the the,
Nunes.
the, the, the team scoring 15 in a Big Bash League game
Oh
last
yeah,
week. How does that even happen?
and the Darwin Nunes TikTok guy. One of the worst sporting moments from this year, singing Darwin Nunes songs on TikTok.
True, true. Salt Bailiff in the World Cup.
Oh yeah, Salt Bay. That's a late edition. What is that? He had his hands all over it. What are you doing?
Honestly, and was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Money.
Even Messi turned around and was like, "Sorry, what?"
What's going on here? Yeah. But yeah, that wraps up the B2B Sports Podcast of 2022. Cheers for listening. Thank you for we've got a higher viewer count this year. We want to try and boost our followers and subscribers on all platforms. So if you could please subscribe, that would be great. And it will be just worth keeping this going.
Yeah.
Worth keeping this sports waffle going. But yeah, have a good Christmas, everyone. Enjoy,
Yeah.
and we'll see you sometime
See you in
again
the
in the
new
new year, I guess.
year. Yeah. Fine.
Enjoy. Peace out in a bit.
See you.